Sorry. Oh, you may sit down. I just, I needed to get it out. So welcome to LTAB DMV 2019. We made it, y'all. We are here. Yes. Woo. Okay. So there are so many other places that y'all could have been today, right? I mean, you could have been seeing Avengers for the third time, okay? You could have been emotionally preparing for Game of Thrones tonight. There are so many other places that you could have been, and yet you are here to celebrate these young voices. Yes, snaps for that. Can we get some snaps? Great. And there are so many things out in the world that want to mute young people, that want to mute young people of color, young LGBTQA plus people, and we have gathered here today to intentionally disrupt the narrative that what young people have to say do not matter. So please give it up for yourselves for being here to explode that narrative. Can we just give it up? Yes, yes, yes. Now, later, I'm going to come back and I'm going to run through what tonight is going to look like. We'll explain what LTAB is. We're going to kiki. It'll be lots of fun. But first, I would like to invite to the stage the executive director of Split This Rock, Rasha Abdulhadi.
We can switch for a moment. Thank you. Oh, look at this radiant company, this pretty much full audience, but squeeze in if we have some folks joining us. I am so grateful to be here. I am so grateful to behold the poets who are going to grace this stage in just a little bit. I have a few things to offer. First, I want to begin with a land acknowledgement for all the indigenous peoples who have lived on and cared for this land, including the Piscataway, the Anacostia, the Powhatan, the Pamunkey, the Chickahominy, the Monacan, and other ancestors both known and unknown. Indigenous peoples were here before colonization, and their descendants are still connected to this land, still here, even sometimes where their communities have been displaced. As we gather in DC, it is important also to acknowledge the hundreds of years that Black folks have led struggles for liberation in this city, in this country, and worldwide. I want to make a quick note about accessibility services. There are reserved seating in the front if that helps to make this event more accessible. There's also captioning for this event as well as assistive listening devices. Please find one of the ushers if you need to take advantage of any of those services. I want to ask that we all remember the lineages that we're drawing on and take up responsibility to renew our relationships to each other as we gather here and to the land that bears our weight. We are in a time when the world doesn't just feel on fire, it is. As we hold the losses of the past and present, including the recent loss at the shooting at the Poway Synagogue near San Diego, we aim our hearts and our hands, our pens and our voices toward caring for and fighting for each other. May we each find balm and fuel in the poetry and community we make here together tonight. Let's take care of each other. Each of us are making our bravest work in the midst of great struggle, and that includes the young poets you'll hear on the stage tonight. I am newly minted as the executive director of Split This Rock. Founding director Sarah Browning is also in the audience with us tonight, so that is a wonderful treat. There are many staff, both present and former, of Split This Rock, and many longtime community members and coaches who are here tonight. So many folks. I am honored to have you all in the audience. I just want to remind folks that this event is hosted by Split This Rock, which is a national organization based here in DC that has been bringing poetry to the center of public life for more than 11 years through after-school youth programs, the DC Youth Slam Team. There you go, you got your cue. And a national festival every 2 years that brings together organizers, activists, teachers, students, and nationally prominent poets for 3 days of workshops, panels, and free public readings. The next festival is in March 2020, so keep posted. We'll have announcements about that soon. Louder Than a Bomb Finals are the culminating event of a season of after-school poetry clubs across DC, Virginia, and Maryland. And these young people have participated in qualifying slams and main stage events hosted by Split This Rock, including the Hyperbole Individual Slam at George Mason University and the DC Youth Slam Team Finals. If you haven't been to those, sign up to receive updates. It'll be on the table at the back, along with an excellent t-shirt that could be yours. Don't forget to stop by the table before you leave tonight. I'm so excited to witness and be lifted by the words and voices of young poets who will rock the stage this evening. I want to remind folks that for me, a good competition is an excuse to come together and share. It is an occasion to stretch ourselves and celebrate each other. And it's not so much about who wins, although it's exciting to test ourselves, but let us all celebrate all the competitors who joined the stage tonight. If you don't get enough today, you can come join the DC Youth Slam team for more public performances this summer, including a poetry jam in June at the Library of Congress, and I would dearly love to see you all there. To all the teams and poets who are here tonight, I just want to say thank you. I am deeply fortunate and blessed to be able to witness and be energized by your work and your words. For everyone else, are you ready to hear some poetry? Yeah. I'll get it to me a little bit louder. Tell me like you mean it. Are you ready to hear some poetry? Yeah. Excellent. Let's hear some poetry. Alexa.
All right. You still with me? Say word. Word. You still with me? Say word. Yeah, good. That's good. Okay, so how many of you have been to an LTAB festival before? Raise your hand. Okay. All right. So let me run through what LTAB is. I want you to turn to your neighbor. Say, neighbor, you gon' learn today. Turn to your other neighbor. Say, neighbor, you gon' learn today. All right. Let's see. So, Louder Than a Bomb DMV, also known as LTAB DMV, is a regional version of Young Chicago Authors' nationally celebrated festival and poetry slam. LTAB gathers youth together to connect across difference, listen to, learn from, and grow with one another. Throughout the school year, young people have been working in their after-school poetry clubs to create their poetry teams and prepare for LTAB finals, okay? So I'm actually going to run through the competing teams today. However, we are team clap for everybody, okay? Team clap for everybody. So that means when I read a team name, I need you to clap loud enough to shake these huge chandeliers that we have here, and they're big, okay? So that's a lot of clapping. That's a lot of clapping, right? And I need you to clap so passionately, it's comparable to, the end of The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. Yeah, that passionately. If you can muster up like one good tear, that would be great, okay? Y'all feel me? Okay, so I'm gonna start. If y'all aren't energized, I'm gonna be upset to say the least. All right, we got Winston Churchill High School, make some noise. All right, we got Hayfield Secondary School, make some noise. All right, we got Wakefield High School. Okay, and then we got Woodrow Wilson High School. Okay, your energy was pretty good. Okay, I feel like we can do better, but we'll see how the night goes. So now raise your hand if you have never been to a slam before. Oh, well, hi guys, oh babies. Okay, well we'll run through it for you. Okay, so at this slam, young people are going to be performing their original work for some good old-fashioned competition. They are not allowed to have props. They are not allowed to have musical accompaniment. It's just their voices and themselves, right? So poets are also going to be performing not only for you, but for our 5 wonderful judges. Okay, so the 5 judges are going to score between 0 and 10. 0 being the worst poem you have ever heard. Okay, it would be the poem equivalent of stubbing your toe. Okay, so if you feel like you stubbed your toe while listening to a poem, that would be a 0. Then a 10 on the other side would be like, okay, so like if you ordered your favorite food from your favorite takeout joint, right? Extra mumbo sauce, it's on and popping, okay? And maybe you order it from DoorDash or Grubhub or Postmates. I feel like we have a variety of, interests here. So it could be any of those things. You don't know who's delivering it. You open the door. The the food's there, and Beyonce's delivering you the food. Okay? Beyonce delivers you your favorite food, and then as she's delivering it to you, she says, hey, do you want to go on tour with me real quick? That's a 10, all right? So you have stubbing your toe, 0, 10, Beyonce delivering you your favorite food and then going on tour with her. Understood? Say word. Word. All right, great. Also, I should mention that poets have, they have a time limit, so their poems need to be under 3 minutes with like a 10-second grace period. The only exception would be during the speed round. Everyone say speed round. Speed round. I never get tired of like, everyone say this, and you do it. Wow, I feel so powerful. Where you have a 1 minute time limit with a 10-second grace period, okay? Okay? Listen, spoken word is a call and response art. I need to hear you, okay? I need the validation, please. Okay, so now, judges, hello. How are we doing? You look so great. Listen, so this audience doesn't take too kindly to having a numerical value placed on poetry, right? But they don't really get it. Okay, we called you here because you're the experts. We had a whole meeting, remember that? It was good, we talked about it. They don't know what they're talking about. We called you to be the judges for a reason, okay? So under no circumstances should you be swayed by the audience, okay? Now audience, hi, your job is to sway the judges. They don't know anything. I just found them when I was walking over here. Okay, they don't know anything that you don't know. So what you're going to do, if you hear a score that you disagree with, we like to keep it respectful in the DMV. So we don't boo. What we say is, listen to the poem. Can I hear that? Listen to the poem. Right? Okay, so if you hear a poem that it's Beyonce delivering you your favorite food, okay? And it gets a 5.2. What are you gonna say? Listen to the poem. Y'all are so great and so smart. Thank you. Now, I feel like I should introduce the judges, should I? I feel like I should. Okay, so I'm gonna run through who they are. I'm gonna give a quick blurb about them, but then I also like to ask a fun little question. Today's question was, what's your favorite reality TV show? I'm a bachelor girl myself, but we could talk about that later. The first judge is Gabriela Orozco. Make some noise. Okay. Gabriela is a DC native. She is a student at School Without Walls, Jewish Latina daughter of South African and Nicaraguan immigrants, and is the current DC Youth Poet Laureate. Okay, accolades. Okay, also, her favorite reality TV show, she said it was a toss-up between Great British Baking Show and Project Runway. Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, we also have Tony Keith. Tony Keith is a poet, educator, and nerd. What? Whose PhD focuses on hip-hop and educational leadership. Now, Tony's favorite reality TV show is Iron Chef, okay? We can make some noise for Iron Chef. Come on, y'all. Yes, Iron Chef. Okay, we also have Adrienne McElhaney. Make some noise. All right. Adrienne is a women's physique pro athlete and singer. Yes. Strong. Favorite reality TV show, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Yeah, we like the drama. We live for it. Okay, we got Busiswe Mahango. She is a South African poet, performer, and TEDx speaker visiting from Mamelodi, Pretoria. Okay, so make some noise. Make some noise, make some noise. All right, her favorite reality TV show is called Living the Dream with Somizi, okay? She says, look it up on YouTube. It's worth it. I'm gonna do that, thank you. All right, and last but definitely not least, we have Paige's Matam. Pages Matam is the director of poetry events at Busboys and Poets. You might have heard of Busboys and Poets, right? He is an author, he is a gummy bear elitist, a bow tie enthusiast, and a professional hugger. Everyone say, aww. Okay, when I asked him what his favorite reality TV show was, he said, my life. So, yes, actual reality. We dig it, we dig it. All right, moving right along. Y'all still with me? Say word. Word. All right, so for those of you who have been to a poetry slam or open mic before, we have our own etiquette, our own way of showing appreciation to poems, right? So if you hear a poem that you like, you can what? You can snap? Oh, that's so pretty. Y'all sound, it's like rain. That's what it sounds like. So pretty. Okay, you can make the chocolate stuck on the roof of your mouth noise. That sounds like Can we hear Nice. You can say, go win, poet. Go win, poet. Say, go win, poet. Go win, poet. Or if you are so moved that you can't form words, okay? What I need you to do is something that we call the awkward giraffe, and it looks something like this. All right? Can I see that just real quick, everyone? Next up, and then you giraffe it. Okay. And last, but definitely not least, we have, it's a good one. Are you ready? Are you sure? Okay. No matter what your religious affiliation or denomination, you could take the word she, you could take the word Jesus, you smush them together, and you got Jesus. Can I hear Jesus? Oh, beautiful. Okay, now I'm gonna do a quick, like practice line. Y'all are gonna act like what I just said was bars, okay? And you're going to react using these wonderful things that we just discussed. Does that sound good? Say word. Okay, all right. Trying to think of some hot fire. Okay. How much wood coulda? What? Would chuck if woodchuck could chuck wood. All right, y'all are so great. You're experts now. Please keep up that energy because the poets are going to need it as they're spilling their souls on this stage. Man, I am so excited to be here. So I think we're ready, right? Are you ready for some poetry? Make some noise. Are you ready for the slam? Make some noise. You're not. You're not ready. Because we have to invite the Calibration Poet onto the stage. Guys, you already knew this. So for those of y'all that do not know, the Calibration Poet is a poet who isn't actually competing in the slam, but who the judges will score as if they are competing in the slam. This gives them a chance to practice scoring. It also helps them stay consistent because you can think of, all right, well, if I like another poem more, then I can score it higher. Then I score the Calibration Poet. If I like it less, I can score it lower. So everyone can stay consistent. Can everyone say, stay consistent? Stay consistent. All right, so, can you all start clapping now for our Calibration Poet? I would like to welcome to the stage, Destiny.
Go ahead, poet. When I close my eyes at night, he is gone. Finally made his way back to his motherland. He doesn't tell anyone, just up and leaves in the dark of night. My grandfather was born in Ethiopia, came to America when he was 17. He is 68 now and is yet to make his way back home. My grandfather wasn't there when his mother died. He booked a plane ticket home, went to the airport and watched through a foggy window as his plane took off without him, and then again when his sister died. But this time he spent a little longer at that window pane, paced back and forth in front of his gate, and again when his brother died. Every few months I get an "I love you, Fauna, take care of your mother" text. And I know he is at the airport again, almost gone again, except now there are nothing but headstones for him to go home to. My grandfather has turned BWI into his own purgatory. There is no forward or back, just that foggy window and shaky armrest, and the knowledge that once he leaves, he's not coming back again. So, at the end of every day, my grandfather, he gathers his belongings, returns to the house where he lives with Addie. She is his best friend from Gondar, the only person whose beef wat can break his Easter fast, the only person who knows the importance of a traditional Bruna ceremony. She knows the kind of spiritual transformation and blessing he gets from that third cup of coffee. She is the last piece of Ethiopia he has left. But in my dreams, he is back home, wearing those priest robes he's always wanted, sitting next to his mother's grave, thinking fondly on his memories of America and his family here as he drinks his last cup of coffee. Thank you.
Yes, yes, keep that energy up. All right, judges. This is the longest amount of time I will give you to score a poet. All right, put your scores up, please. All right, from low to high, we have a 7. We have a 7.1. We have an 8. We have an 8. We have an 8.5. Make some noise. Make some noise for the poet, not the score. All right, and y'all, this is the last time that I can really talk about the poetry here. As a host, I need to remain neutral, but please know that inside I am emotionally milli rocking, because you all are fantastic. Now, I think we're ready to start the slam now, okay? Okay? So let me tell you, on deck, we have Hayfield, but I want you to start clapping now for Winston Churchill High School. Make some noise, make some noise, make some noise.
I love you, Danny Miller. Go, Danny.
The opening shot of Kill Bill depicts a man taking a bruised woman's handkerchief, then using it to wipe the blood off of her face. I'd like to believe that you are aware enough to know that there is nothing sadistic in my actions. This is what he tells her. And I wonder, did the man ever give the woman back her handkerchief? Or did he relish in the fact that he now owns a piece of her she will never get back if he gave her back the handkerchief? Did the woman then frame it, keep it on her nightstand, show it off at parties? Did she give it a name? Call it art, call it sacrifice, call it womanhood? And oh, how womanhood is digested, how we have learned to swallow it through the lens of violent men. Quentin Tarantino likes to make movies about tortured women because that is how he likes his women. Their blood on his hands, his blood in their mouth. His prose punches our noses in, digs its fingernails into our necks, bruises us up until we are interesting enough to put on screen, but make sure our faces stay perfect. In Pulp Fiction, the song "Girl, You'll Be a Woman" plays in the background while a woman overdoses on cocaine. In Death Proof, 4 women with blood-red lipstick get into a car crash, their lips still perfect, still plump as they go out of the window of the car. On the set of Kill Bill, Quentin Tarantino nearly kills Uma Thurman in a car crash. Maybe it's because he spent too much time here, got the lines between real and fiction blurred, Maybe the line was never there in the first place. Maybe Quentin Tarantino makes documentaries. In our world, women are the collateral damage, the therapy cases and the therapy, the shells men use and spit out once they find themselves. In Quentin Tarantino's world, we are the manic pixie dream girls with the coke addictions and the stiletto high heels. Our lives are the price to pay for any screen time at all, so what really is the difference? I grew up trying to find myself in the world that Quentin Tarantino envisioned, and it's getting harder and harder to survive here. In Quentin Tarantino's world, the president brags about grabbing women, the men at school make lists rating us based on our hotness, the men assault us and get away with it, the men assault us and go to Yale, are put on the Supreme Court to make decisions about our bodies. In my world, they hit me because they like me. They pull my hair too hard. I am catcalled walking home from school. I am hit on by grown men. I wonder how many of these grown men grew up with Tarantino movies, envisioning themselves in the characters just like I did. Thank you.
All right. Judges, put your scores up. All right, from low to high, we have a 7.2. We have a 7.6. We have an 8. We have an 8.6. Let them know how you feel. And we have a 9. All right. Also, I forgot to say, we do take off the lowest score and the highest score, and then we add together the 3 middle scores for the final score. I just said score like 11 times in a sentence. Weird. Okay, I also want to say the order of this bout, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was team 1. Team 2 is coming up to the stage right now. On deck will be Wilson, but to the stage right now we have Hayfield. Start clapping now for Hayfield.
This poem is entitled An Alternate Heaven for Refugees, after Danez Smith's Alternate Heaven for Black Boys. In an alternate heaven for refugees, the livelihood of our roots are not pulled out and left to rot. My people no longer kiss their ears to soil, hoping to hear the hums of an ancestry that lived. Here, they cannot twist our tongues and tie them around our throats. Here, America can't stain our white thobes ruby red, because here there are no borders. Do not call us dead, call us alive, because now we have the right to exist everywhere, whether we call it home or mosque or church or synagogue or human love. If it grows here, it knows its place in history. If you're born here, this land will love you back in this heaven. We whisper our own names in prayer. A law rewinds every bullet. All the boys win the soccer match. Trophies get washed up on seashores instead of the bodies of children who knew how to swim but couldn't. But there, missiles banged like an orchestra singing forgotten names there. Oppression became muscle memory there. I was denied an education, so I learned to count the dead and multiply body counts by the hour there. We ended up carrying half of the bodies to the hospital and the other half to the grave there. My younger brother prayed criers over my dead body every time he saw a piece of me disintegrate to powdered skulls. But brother, I wasn't there. I was here. Here. Rather than throwing rocks at soldiers, we tossed rocks into rivers to watch the ripplings of recovery feed every thirsty body here. My mother's Yemeni grace pours upon me. My father's laugh lives in the olive trees of Palestine. Sockets of hope grow from Syrian soil here. I chant the Somali anthem and hear the wind sing it back. Lullabies that were once missiles are now my sister's voice echoing in the mountains of Afghanistan. I earned this paradise by a death I did not deserve. All because someone, somewhere, prayed the pieces of our ancestry would rest in peace.
All right, judges. Oh, you're gonna be quicker than that. Oh, you're gonna be quicker than that. All right, scores. Put them up, raise them high. All right. So from low to high, we have a 7.8. We have an 8.5. We have an 8.8, an 8.9, and a 9. Make some noise for the poet. Okay, so on deck, we have Wakefield High School. To the stage, I'd like to welcome Wilson High School. Clap them all the way up. Wilson High School. There we go.
I'm sorry is what people say when they can't say anything else. I'm sorry for those who say they're sorry all the time. See how that doesn't help? My apology for something that's not my fault did not make you feel better about your poor vocabulary. I'm sorry is the only word you best know how to use. I bet it was the first word you ever said, 'cause it's the first word you say now when you don't want to look bad. I bet your name is I'm sorry in another language. You say sorry when nobody is even talking to you. If you don't have anything good to say, do not say anything at all. If you are going to say sorry to me, do not approach me at all. I'm sorry. I am so sorry for ever believing you could stop saying sorry. I am so sorry for trying to make you move on from that silly word, I'm sorry, is a poor example of an apology. Don't say you're sorry for being busy. Don't say you're sorry for having other friends. Stop poorly apologizing for not knowing something that nobody expected you to know anyway. You say you're sorry to explain everything. You say, I'm sorry, instead of good morning. I bet your happy birthday song is a long list of sad apologies. I'm sorry is inappropriate to be used no matter what, because no situation is just right for that weak apology. I'm sorry. We are sorry people. You are a sorry liar, 'cause you don't stay sorry long enough to know what you are sorry for, and then you still aren't sorry. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't know the definition of the word. Maybe I'm being too harsh about this, and if I am, then I am so
All right. Moving right along. Yes, we are. We are moving. We are. Come on, judges. Scores up. All right. So, from low to high, we have, oh, there's a little bit of a glare there. Okay. Thank you. We have a 6.9. We have a 7. We have a 7.2, a 7.3, and a 7.7. Make some noise for the poet, not the scores. Okay, we are about to welcome the last team of the round to the stage. I would like to welcome Wakefield High School.
Donc le sunshine, je photosynthèse. Des pour vitaminer, il m'en faut trop. L'initial, le neutre est propos. Je fais le topo sous popo. Synthèse d'arguments en faveur de la défense. Quand tombe la sentence, le fait est que les vrais faibles sont tous sous l'emprise de tentacules. Femme fière, fraîche, faire le twerk, on t'attend en culte. Je sais qu'il y a pas de guerre.
In an alternate universe, we went to the concert together. The opening act is more my style, but you live for the main event. Haven't mastered the art of fitting in with the crowd, but you know how to weave your way through it to get a front row view. So I'd hold your hand the whole time, trailing behind, and if somehow I get lost, I'll follow everyone's eyes back to you, we'd find you dancing. The same song we parked the car to sing to because the red lights weren't long enough. This time I'm not the only one who sees the way the song whips through your hair like a hurricane before it leaves the ocean. You are in your element, and I'm just trying to keep up. Keep you from slipping through my fingers again, because an alternate universe where I had been there the night you needed me most is something worth time traveling for. An alternate universe, you wouldn't have called me crying about how you didn't even make it inside. An alternate universe where I got my ticket on time might have saved us both some heartache. I'd hold your hand the whole time. We walked past those guys drunk and saying they're still a little thirsty, saying you should just take a sip, saying it's just soda. You'll need a drink of something to get you through the night. There'd be no black holes, no gaps where the story fades to black and cuts to what happens next, a montage of things you couldn't tell me. You never talk about it after we hang up the phone, so I'm always on the lookout for voicemails. One said, after missing 3 days of school in a row, you still didn't feel like yourself. Another one, doctor said it was still in your system. That's right. Things like these have a tendency to stick around longer than they're wanted in your body. I can't even begin to imagine how you felt, so I'm asking all the what ifs, like, what if we started a band? You, me, and the hypotheticals. It has a nice ring to it, right? We become our own concert every time a song comes on that's so good, we just have to park the car, remind our fans to make sure to get their tickets on time, and not to come alone, to dance with a friend. I know the hypotheticals aren't real. They still comfort me. So there must be an alternate universe out there with a better ending, right? One that'd make you happy. Maybe you'd make it through the doors. Maybe you'd dance again.
All right. Put them up, put them up, put them up, put them up, put them up. Put them scores up. We are going to show them scores. Yes, we are. Put them up. And we're going low to high. We got 7, 7.1, 7.2, 7.4, and a 7.8. Clap it up for the poet, not the scores. All right. Y'all, that was just round 1, right? We got 3 more rounds. Please continue to keep your energy up. It feels so good in this room. I am so happy that we have all gathered here together. I want to remind you all that the order of this round will be 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay? So on deck will be Wilson High School. Put to the stage right now. I want you to start clapping. We are going to welcome Hayfield High School. All the way up to the stage.
How much money you got? How much money you got? How much money you got? How many problems you got? How many people in doubt?
This piece is titled An Ode to Kindergarten. I want to write a poem for the moment that my 5-year-old self walked into that classroom, the moment that my eyes lit up as bright as the multicolored alphabet letters strung across the room, or the cartoon characters on the reading rug, or for the moment that I found my purple butterfly name tag, Amina. I heard a voice over my shoulder, and I looked up to see a tall and firm-looking woman. She was not smiling. She had this look on her face as if she could see everything that my future held, everything that I'd grow up to be. She said, "I'm Miss Powers." And then it all made sense, because her collar looked like the perfect cover-up under which she'd tie her cape, and the reflection of myself that I could see in her glasses made me feel like she had probably just read my mind and seen all there was to see about me, all there ever would be, could be to see one day. And her powerful aura, radiating strength and bravery, made me wonder if maybe she was kindergarten teacher by day and superhero by night. But today, I stand here and realize that she was full-time superhero, because to be teacher is to be superhero. In her classroom, I learned how to count. I learned that I had to count to 10 3 times while washing my hands for them to actually be clean again. I learned that scissors are tricky to use, and cutting on the lines is not always the easiest, but failing to do so doesn't make you any less than the kid who got it right the first time. She taught me how to swing between syllables and sounds the way Spider-Man swings from building to building. And today, I stand here and realize that she gave me a gift, because to teach me how to read and rhyme and play with syllables and sounds was to teach me how to tell my story. I learned that magic forms on paper, and I can be the magician, my crayons be my wand, and my alphabet sticker is my spell. With Miss Powers, I learned how to describe things like the bumpy, scaly, orange skin of our classroom fish. I learned that if someone is sitting alone during snack time, it is nice to extend a friendly hand, but with that, I also learned about peanut allergies. And I learned that if you try hard enough to sleep during nap time, you might even have a good dream. In her classroom, I was bestowed the ability to imagine, and I guess that's why kindergarten is as far back as I can remember, because that is where everything began. She made me recognize the word Powers, but only because it was her name, and also the first thing I saw every morning as I walked in, big, bold, blue letters hanging above the glass window on the wooden door. It made me want to put my name up there too. Made me wonder how much growing up I still had left to do before I could be that important enough for my name to be the start of someone's day, every day. It's been 12 years, and I have walked through countless classroom doors and have been greeted by many different teachers, each one adding to the story that began in kindergarten 2006. 12 years ago, I didn't know I'd be a hijabi. I didn't know I'd be a poet. 12 years ago, I didn't know I'd become a hijabi poet whose finger painting skills would progress into using words to paint portraits. And I don't know if Miss Powers knew or if Miss Holliday did. I don't know if Miss G saw it coming or if Miss Wright did. But it's been 12 years. And today, I carry with me 12 years worth of superpowers. Thank you.
All right, moving right along. Yes, we are judges. Those scores. All right, from low to high, we got a 7.7. We got an 8. We have an 8.2, an 8.3, and an 8.8. Make it up. Make it up? Or, okay, great. You know what I mean. Give it up. You know. Listen, words are hard sometimes, okay? That's why I am so in awe by all these poets. Now, on deck, we have Wakefield High School, but to the stage, we're going to welcome Wilson High School. Make some noise, make some noise, make some noise.
Can't see I'm perfectly imperfect. This is who I am what you see. I may be imperfect, but
This poem is titled Words of Advice. Mommy always tells me that the day will come when you will fall in love. And when you do, no olvides lo que te dije. Never forget the words that I say. Because when I speak to you, it's nothing but the truth. And it's true. She could never lie to me. Her face is like an autobiography. With her eyes, I can turn back to the pages of regret, be guided by her words of advice, until I find myself lost in the pain of her voice. The same voice that tells me now, that es una señorita, you're all grown. And in those words, I hear the unforbidden. Time has built her baby into a temple.
and she's afraid of worshipers, the ones who will try to pray their way into the gates of heaven, because heaven is in between the legs. And while she knows only angels are accepted, she cannot guard the gates forever, because judgment day comes. And when it does, she only hopes that I will choose wisely. So she tells me, ten cuidado, be careful, because demons were once angels too. So I can't protect you from no babies or fools, only you know what you will do. So she tells me, never accept a lost man, because if you give him a chance, he will try to part you into two, as if your skin is water and his name Moses. And don't you dare accept any apologies, because a man will cleanse his words with the holy water of your tears and call it a baptism. You see, she knows all too well about deception. Its bitter taste rolls off her tongue like a memory. But mommy knows better. Esta morenita may be stubborn, but I'm no fool. I had the doctor snatch me from the womb, because in the dark, I built a world where a girl was the first to govern. You see, before my brother, there was me. And before a lover, it'll be me. I have to be my first love. I cannot accept a lost man, a good man, or any man before me.
All right. So, from low to high, we have an 8. We have an 8.5. We have another 8.5. We have a 9, and we have a 9.2. Give it up for the poet. Yes, beautiful, beautiful. Man, we are just plowing through this thing. Wonderful. So, on deck, we have Winston Churchill. But to the stage, I want you to start clapping now. Thunderous, thunderous applause for Wakefield High School.
I do not know this skin, stitched together with moments that are not mine. I have not held this body, instead given it to every opened arms, hoping to find purpose in worlds that are not my own. So I sell myself to try to prove I am worth something, offering myself up to broken stories disguised as broken boys and fractured girls, believing love is somewhere in between the sharp edges, balancing on a blade, thinking love is trying not to slip and cut my fragility, thinking love is slicing away someone else's soul and molding myself from it like clay. I do not know how to be my own sculpture. And I don't know how not to hurt the artist when I steal their breath to create my own oxygen. I don't mean to take from their lungs, I just don't know how to breathe on my own. Sometimes I ask myself if it was really abuse when I was so willing to take the hit. When they said, at least someone wants to touch you. And I thought, is it so bad to want to be held so much you pretend they aren't strangling you? Sometimes I tell myself maybe it was my fault. Because in becoming everything you wanted, I lost the parts of myself I thought deserved better. Maybe it's always my fault when covers turn to suffocation and roses turn to thorns, because I love myself too little to teach you how to love me right. I crawl my way to danger, believing nothing safe would ever want to touch me, because nothing safe has ever tried to reach me, because you promised me I was damaged goods. Forever damaged, never good. And the porcelain girls around me have branded caution tape around my bruised body, labeled me cautionary tale, labeled me caution. Like my body is crime scene, something to witness but never venture through, leaving me starving for some kind of love, even if that love feels like trying on someone else's skin. At least you don't have to be yourself. As hands reach through the warning signs wrapped around your waist, at least for a second you can feel, without having to feel like you are you, because you are damaged goods. A patched up quilt of stories that are not your own, but you wear like you pulled them from your own bedroom closet. If they like your words, maybe it doesn't matter if you found them in someone else's mouth, because maybe they carry that person's worth, and maybe I can mold myself into something worth becoming with the scraps of another person. It doesn't make much sense. But when you spend your whole life losing your identity, it's pretty hard to find your way back to who you are. When you spend your whole life running from the love that's offered to you, it's pretty hard to feel like you're worth more than the love you've settled for. I wish I had never left my skin to begin with. Wish I had been grateful for the life I had instead of spending my time searching for a worth I should have realized was already inside me.
All right. Scores up. All right. It doesn't have to be super neat. Come on, come on, come on. Okay. So from low to high, we have a 7.7, a 7.8, a 7.8, an 8.3, and an 8.7. Give it up for the poet, not the scores. All right. On deck, we have Wilson High School. To the stage, we're going to give it up for Winston Churchill High School. Make some noise, make some noise, make some noise.
Invalid, big back, big balance, got a big back. Floats hot, it's in Cali.
For a cold moment, the world I knew around me spun into hazardous colors, changing faster and faster the weaker I felt. I quickly fell to the ground. My body lay on the cold cement like an old man's corpse with no life left to offer. The next few seconds went by in a blur, from nurses checking my pulse to doctors yelling over my mother's muffled screams, to everything around me fading into gray. And for the next few minutes, I lay there still, wondering how just another night out turned into discovering my heart is failing. Heartbeats too fast, heartbeats too slow, heart's not beating enough, heart will give up soon. I've heard stories about life or death experiences, about how a person's life flashes before their eyes as they long to cling to every last memory before it's all over. For me, all I was able to see were the broken nights surrounded by strangers disguised as friends, with empty bottles decorating the floors. I saw the intruders I've allowed to enter my body, mistaking pleasure for unconditional love, unable to understand the difference between cure and poison. I saw a long list of things I wish I never said, unrecognizable faces, and goodbyes I never knew were coming. Tick-tock, I'm running out of time. Heartbeats too fast, heartbeats too slow. Heart's not beating enough, heart will give up soon. Thump, thump. That's the sound of my heart. Trying, beating, working, even though the doctors predicted it won't for long. Thump, thump. It means that right now, I'm alive. I'm not ready for her to give up on me. Thank you.
All right, all right, all right. Okay, and all right. We got from low to high a 7, a 7, a 7.2, a 7.4, and a 7.5. Give it up for the poet and not the score. Y'all, we are halfway through the slam. That's 2 4s, or like 4 8s, or like 16:30 seconds. Who said artists can't do math? I can. Okay, so the order of this round is actually going to be the speed round, right? So poets have a time limit of 1 minute with a 10-second grace period. The order will be 3, 4, 1, 2. On deck is Wakefield High School, but to the stage, we are going to clap up Wilson High School. Make all the noise, make all the noise.
I am from the crown jewel of Africa, those who miss the diaspora. I am from broken love, one that disease shattered. I am from trauma, who left scars that still stain me. I am from culture, color, food, and song. I am from history, the only ones who fought and won. I am from corruption, a government that's forgotten its people. I am from poverty, a thief that has no soul. I am from believers who give purpose to my heartbeat. I am from passionate tragedy that led her to give me up. I am from an Ethiopian queen that taught me to be a warrior. I am warrior. I am passionate tragedy. I am believer with a purposeful heartbeat. I am honesty. I am wealth. I am my history. I am my culture. Color, food, and song, I am trauma. All my scars paint me. I am broken love. I am the diaspora, the crown jewel of Africa. Thank you.
Y'all are getting it. Y'all are so quick now. Wonderful. Okay, so from low to high, we have a 7.2, a 7.4, an 8, an 8, an 8.5. Give it up for the poet, not the scores. All right, so moving right along, on deck, we have Winston Churchill High School, but to the stage, we're going to clap up Wakefield High School.
Yeah, made this here with all the ice on in the booth. At the gate outside, when they pull up, they give me, jump out.
Your favorite candy was Butterfingers. But see, that was before cuffs clinked and sirens sounded, before the three musketeers burst into your room, your daughter on the outside covering her ears, and your wife next to her, she tried to do the best she could. But God knows a single mother in this country does not make 100 grand. Before officers snickered in courtrooms, before the devastation of a family got them a vacation and a big score, before the attorney got a payday, before it felt like there was a bounty on your head so the court could get a pot of gold. Before I looked at colleges in Bourneville, Fifth Avenue, and Charleston, choosing how to spend the next 4 years before you lost your wife's kisses. Before you cheated on a woman that would have given you mounds of love, she would have given you Mars, she would have given you a galaxy. Her love for you would have stretched so far that she'd have died out in space trying to bring you back to the Milky Way. But see that was before the gun, when Kit Kat, your favorite candy, was Butterfingers. And it makes perfect sense, because you always made a habit of letting good things slip away.
Put 'em up, judges. I put 'em up, judges. We got an 8.3, and then okay, I'll stop. Okay, we have an 8.3, we have a 9, we have a 9, a 9.2, and a 9.3. Make some noise. Okay, now, on deck, we have Hayfield High School to the stage. We're gonna welcome Winston Churchill High School. Make some noise.
You tell me you're Atlas, but here I am holding you up and the sky that rests upon your shoulders, telling you it's like supporting a cloud, but it's heavy, and it's worth it, but it's heavy, and you treat me like I'm someone who let go instead of holding on tighter when you needed to be held together. I'm so disposable, so secondary, and you only care when there's no one else to care about. You give me the love that collects in condensation on the side of your glass after you've poured all of it out on someone else. I watch you rain in sun showers over her, and I hold you up in the desert, bone dry, waiting because patience is a virtue. Patience is my virtue, and you love to make me wait patiently by your side when you don't want me, moving only slightly closer when you finally decide that you do. I told you I needed to be held, but instead I stand holding up the sky with wobbling arms and hands holding tightly to you because that's what you need. I don't know if it's getting harder or if the weight of your sky is getting heavier. I don't know, but I hold up the sky.
Okay. Low to high, we have a 7. Is that, yeah, let us know how you feel. Is that a 7.3, love? That's a 7.3. Okay, so a 7, a 7.3, a 7.5, a 7.9, and an 8.6. Give it up for the poet. Wonderful. We got the last team of this round, okay? On deck will be Wakefield High School, but to the stage we're going to welcome Hayfield High School. Keep your energy up, keep it up, keep it up.
I will swallow the chemical burn of 404 locos if it means forgetting what this life tastes like. But like pop a bottle of champagne, we're getting lit tonight, so blind drunk the floor is one long wave in an ocean of people who do not care if I die, living like tonight is the last night before we die. Who knows? If I'm lucky, it might be. Crank open another bottle like a music box. Hear it play a beat that boosts the bass louder than the belittling cries of self-doubt. Watch me unwind wine corks into string. Tie grapevines around each finger so my balloon body does not fly away. Tomorrow I will deflate to the tune of the rising sun. Remember the way my silhouette swayed along to shadowy whispers of slut. How my beer can body was crushed by the freelance fists of frat boys. The Vixen, the vindictiveness of vodka mixes into the tears caused by my mascara. As the bass booms its way into the sleepy murmurs of the early morning, I ask strangers for guns, wanting nothing more than to die in drunken delirium. But if I wake up, it's fine. There's always another party to go to tomorrow. Thank you.
Man, you gotta stop playing the jams. I'm just gonna keep dancing and not do my job. Okay, so from low to high, we have an 8. We have an 8.5, an 8.5, an 8.7, and a 9.4. Great. Now that actually ends this third round that we got going on. We're moving to the fourth round. Now let me tell you about this fourth round real quick. This is actually the group poem round. Whoa. So that means you're going to be seeing more than one poet on stage. It's going to be a lituation, as the young people say. So on deck we have Winston Churchill High School. To the stage, we're going to start clapping now. We're going to start clapping now for Wakefield High School.
My hair dances like fire. 100,000 strands, each one twisting and coiling, but upright with pride. White palms create handprints like the treads of colonial boots on 1492 American sand, pushing, suppressing, constricting like shrinkage.
I start to think my hair is nothing more than an art piece, a wax sculpture with no barriers.
I guess that must make me the artist, tortured by the tangles of an inattentive society.
People touch and feel but leave no thought of consequence. Titillated by the clouds on my scalp, but not quite sensing the dents in my charisma, my hair dances like fire.
I use shampoo to remove your sweat from my naps and conditioner too. Conditioned to never let you touch under any conditions.
My follicles are not playgrounds.
My follicles are pillars, strong and sturdy, holding up black thought.
Crazy hair day in elementary school. This girl put hangers in her hair so her hair stood up. I remember thinking, wow, mine does that on its own. But never mind that. I actually do mind it. The first time I saw someone wear hair like mine proudly, it was a white girl. Granted, she found confidence in calling the concoction crazy, unruly, ugly, even, but at least she took confidence in it.
And my father always taught me to stand tall, because we live in America. A place where afros over black boys are somehow perceived as target signs.
A place where puffs over black girls correlates to uneducated.
Ghetto even
treated rougher than the rest because our hairdos happen to resemble helmets from a distance.
A friend asked me why my pick has the black power fist. And I responded by saying it's because even the weight of the atmosphere can't keep black magic down.
Don't get tired of detangling. They might reach for straighteners, curling irons, and perms, even when you know it burns is what you get for trying to fight fire with fire.
My hair dances like fire. My hair is not an accessory.
My hair is not unprofessional.
My hair is not a mistake.
It is flaming genealogy.
It is burning passion.
It is sun-kissed.
Heaven-kissed.
Black mother kiss.
Infinite curl patterns, Murray's, blue magic.
Hemps, oils, and pomades.
And it will not be limited. My hair dances like fire. And we will not let anyone deprive it of oxygen.
Okay. Let's see. Bow. So, from low to high, we have an 8. We have an 8.7. We have a 9, a 9, and a 9.3. Give it up for those poets. On deck, we have Hayfield High School. To the stage, we're going to start giving it up for Winston Churchill High School. Make some noise.
Today, for my poem, I will be talking about racism from
a white girl's perspective. Isn't it so messed up that people have to go through that stuff?
I almost wish I could do something about it.
I mean, I went to the walkout, but just because I really wasn't ready for my math test. Oh, and so my friends could take a picture for Instagram.
Hashtag arms are for hugging. Now I'm the face of the movement.
It's not my fault I make every tragedy about me. Guys, I was just at the Notre Dame.
And it's like so scary how I could have been killed in that moss fire in Sri Lanka if I had gone there for spring break.
That makes me like so sad to think about. And while we're on the subject, depression, it's the worst. I mean, for me, it's just an adjective I use as subjective, but I get sad sometimes. I definitely have caught it. It's a virus, right?
Also ADHD. I have that too. I got it for my birthday along with a therapist, so I could be special like everyone else.
And IDK, if you knew this about me, but I'm actually also a giver, smiley face. I mean, I'll retweet your GoFundMe page. I won't donate to it or even Google it, but it's
the thought that counts, right?
Alexa, play Rich Girl by Hall & Oates.
I only have Google Home, but I can't get an Alexa and an iPhone X. But my 7 sucks.
That's so gay.
I'm not gonna correct you on that.
Even though I know I should.
But I'm like totally an ally.
I saw Moonlight, and I thought it was like really important.
And I saw Rent once at the Kennedy Center, and I thought the gay guy dying was so sad. So I can't be homophobic.
I mean, I want a gay best friend so bad.
Same. You see, I'm not like other girls.
I'm not like other girls.
I'm not like other girls.
I'm so brave, so woke. You could even say I'm an activist.
Well, except for the acting part. I just don't have time to go to all of those protests. But I will tweet about them and about how it's so unfair that some people lay awake at night not knowing if it's their last.
Meanwhile, I'm sleeping comfortably on my king-size memory foam of
white supremacy.
Getting comfortable under my
Freshly pressed white sheets. But I still struggle. I create my struggle. Because how else would I get a good score on this poem?
You can snap now.
right, judges, come on. You gotta be quicker than that. All right. And okay, so from low to high, we have a 6.8, we have a 7.8, a 7.9, an 8.8, and a 9.4. Give it up for the poets and not the scores. All right, so on deck, we have Wilson High School to the stage. We are going to welcome Hayfield High School. Make some noise.
Step my money fast and go fast, fast like a Lambo. I be jumping out the stage, oh, jumping, hey. Crowd better save up. I can't believe we made it. This is what we made. This is what we're thankful. This is what we made. I can't believe we made it.
My days with you were numbered, so I calculated every risk along the way.
I counted quarters and marked all the payphones in a 5-mile radius to make sure I could always call you. You couldn't be bothered to return even half the favor. 12.5 cents was too much of a price to pay. Loving me proved to be too expensive for you.
You never quite knew how to save money. Renting the space out of your heart to numerous strangers. I suppose I never had good credit. Buying a room when your boarders had already been overbooked. But still, every day was a lease with your name on it.
On the 7 days of the week I couldn't get out of bed, I always wished you would run to my rescue. Tug me out of the infinity of bed sheets I cocooned myself into, bathe my body in hot water, steam away my sadness like you wanted to.
Outbid me of my own affection, yelling louder in hopes that the noise could fill the spaces between us, that noise could disguise the fact that the diamonds dangling from her ears were the dollars I spent on you. I guess you found someone else to spend them on.
You never told me I was beautiful. I carefully applied my mascara, praying you would be just as gentle with me as I was with each eyelash. Try not to pluck each one like flower petals.
He loves me.
He loves me not.
He loves me.
He loves me not.
He
watched me slip from his hands and fall to pieces on the floor of his kitchen. I did not shatter. I was not fractured into fragments of fine china,
only cut along the same seams I asked you to stitch up in the first place. The day you left, I counted every drop of rain that hit my cheek.
The day you left, I counted every crack in the sidewalk on the way back from your house.
172 drops.
86 cracks.
6.3 billion reasons to never say I love you again. Now I'm counting reasons not to love you on my fingers. So far my hands have remained closed fists. So far there's nothing left to enumerate other than the number of times I could have said goodbye but didn't.
Now I count the ounces of resolve in each sigh of a summer breeze. I watch the way each flower stem bends over backward to me the way I wanted you to, the way you never could.
Now I deposit each tugged heartstring in the bank, hoping its security will grow interest, hoping I have learned stocks and bonds well enough to know what not to invest time into. But loving you was never really the reason I went broke. I just never knew what to do with the coins of collateral after donating dimes to your charity case that just so happened to be me. My days with you were numbered. So now I'll count all the ways in which I could love better, so that next time I spend only what I have to.
All right, judges, you know what to do. Okay, so from low to high, we have a 7.9, a 7.9, an 8.4, an 8.5, and an 8.6. Give it up for the poets. All right, I am going to welcome our last team to the stage, and that is Wilson High School. Make some noise, make some noise.
Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. Know you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. Level up, 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 level up.
I was the kid eating hand sanitizer in the first grade. And then 10 years later, when I first drank alcohol, I say to myself, man, this tastes like hand sanitizer.
Well, I was the kid with all the ideas that made people look at me like I was an alien. But secretly, I think they all loved it and wished they had come up with it first.
Oh, yeah? On the first day of class in my 4th grade year, my teacher asked me, "What do you like to do?" And I unfortunately said, "I stare at people when they're not looking."
Like this was one of my ideas. Before a baby's born, they're given a trailer of life. The good, bad, beautiful, ugly. Then they make their decision if they want to continue existing because I feel it's not very democratic to force life on someone.
I'm weird. I know this. When I was little, the biggest insult you could say to me was, "You're weird."
What even is
weird? I guess whatever isn't normal. I remember being a quiet kid when I never had much to say. And I don't know what came first, me being called weird and getting shy over it, or me being quiet and considered weird. It made me feel like an outcast, like someone who didn't belong.
I'm pretty weird. Just hear me try to explain what I'm feeling, and you won't question this for a second. Sometimes life doesn't feel real to me, and time seems more like an illusion. I wonder why I am the way that I am, and why time and language seem to cage my soul. I wonder, what would my language be if there was no one around to teach me theirs? I think too much. You live in a world where you're constantly being pressured to be in a crowd. From your first breath, you have an audience, and you live your life from that point on record. Every moment shared,
Screenshot it,
liked it with a comment or two. Just trying our best to be the kids in the front.
I'm still the kid in the back, pretending to be a blank slate. But I know I have a head full of ideas that would cover them all in smoke. I tried letting others mold me, hoping I'd fit in. But I'm always going to be a little bit strange. Maybe we should all be a little less scared of our thoughts. A little less scared of the awkward silence that puts truth on blast.
They say humans are social beings, but maybe we just fear being alone.
We run from the unfamiliar.
We hide from the unknown.
We're scared of different. So we laugh.
In hopes to distract from our own weirdness. Like when I'm tired or have caffeine, I have laugh attacks. They're similar to heart attacks, but like laughing, leaving those around me both confused and giddy.
Oh, yeah? I used to pretend I was a werewolf and even convince my whole class. This is when my boy Jacob was winning the Twilight Love Triangle battle.
Maybe it relieves you to hear my weird stories, because you can relate to my humanity.
I long for acceptance and validation from you.
And I don't even know you.
It's funny. When you're young, other people's opinions can form you into who you are. But I'm now at the age where I can care less.
So yeah, maybe I am a little weird.
Maybe I'm a little different, but guess what?
So are you.
Okay. Woo. All right. Judges for the last time of the night. From low to high, we have a 7.8, a 7.9, an 8, an 8.3, and an 8.3. Give it up for the poets. Okay, and give it up for yourselves, y'all. That's it. Like, that was the slam. Like, y'all did it. It's been such an honor to be here with everyone to fellowship in this space of youth power, right? While Chelsea is somewhere off tallying the scores, I was wondering if I'd be able to share a poem with y'all. Is that okay? All right. A letter to the white music major who told me I didn't understand jazz. I bet you think Elvis Presley was a great songwriter. I bet the musical Hamilton introduced you to hip hop. I bet you spent too much money on an education you could have gotten from just listening. To hands busy, scraping together money, food, something to live on, hands that still find time to keep rhythm, just listen. To feet that bleed into tips of shoes after long hours of working or escaping and still finding joy and flirting with a dance floor. Or imagine a mouth kept quiet all day, opening to sing. Why you wanna fly, blackbird? You ain't never gonna fly. And this all in a living room, furniture pushed aside so grown folks could do what grown folks do. This a kitchen where nighttime chores turn moonlit symphonies. This is jazz. What they teach you at your university. They hand you notes on a page, say, here, Billie Holiday, without showing you the strange fruit that made her voice a bleeding trumpet. They teach you Coltrane wrote considering strange scales without weighing the cacophony of burning churches. Jazz at its root, underground tracks leading black bodies away from fire. Reduce that to a classroom, and I do not understand. University is a temporary shelter for those who could afford it. My people barely permitted in its facilities until 50 years ago. Our names fill your curriculums. Even when we're not on your rosters, we created our own. Our jazz is a home, a door wide open, crumbling institutions with the audacity of making music out of its dust. Just listen to us, to me, who you told didn't understand, when I too have seen everything burning. I too have felt lost in a place I lived my entire life. When every day I was ugly because nobody heard me beautiful, it was jazz that lifted my chin to its mirror. Show me how black folks spin sorrow into spaces for living, into rooms without ash. I am that music, descendant of people who build what they are told they cannot have, a home, a stage, a voice. And you tell me that I don't understand, but no, this is mine. Thank you. All right. I'm actually going to call all the competing poets to the stage right now to gather behind me. Yeah, close them all the way up. I love it, I love it, I love it. Oh, look at them go. Aren't they beautiful? Hey, we gonna welcome all the poets to the stage. Hi. Yes. Y'all all coordinated and whatnot. Y'all cute. Okay, does everyone have room? Okay. Oh, look at who it is. It's Chelsea Lorano, the Youth Programs Director at Split This Rock. Hi, Chelsea.
Alexa.
All right. What do you have for me? Yeah. Okay. So we're running through the scores, right? Okay. So I'm gonna run through the poets and the scores in order. So in fourth place, with a score of 93, we have Winston Churchill High School. All right. In third, we have, with a score of 95.1, we have Wilson High School. Okay. Runner up with a score of 99.5, we have Wakefield High School. And with a score of 100.2, I want you to keep clapping for our LTAB DMV 2019 champions, Hayfield High School. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Wonderful job, you all. You have been so brave and unapologetic, and it's been so inspiring to watch you.
Thank you all. My name is Chelsea Arlano. I'm the Director of Youth Programs at Split This Rock. We really appreciate you all being out here. Excuse me, I'd just like to give a list of thank yous to everybody who made the event tonight possible. I want to start off with a wonderful and warm thank you to the Kennedy Center for hosting us here, and especially a shout out to the Millennium Stage Production team. I want to say thank you to DJ AA1K. And a thank you to our fabulous photographer, Candace Roberts, for capturing this moment. I'd like to thank all of the judges on the panel today. Y'all have the toughest job, and we appreciate you being here to help us make this possible. I'd like to say thank you to all the teaching artists and teacher sponsors who've been responsible for coaching, supporting, and guiding all of the young people through this process. And a shout out to all the Split This Rock staff members that came together to help support and make this possible, with a special shout out to Claudia Rojas and Brian Hannon for supporting in youth programs. I'd like to say a warm thank you to you all, beautiful audience, for being here and showing your support for the young people and letting them know that what they have to say matters. And last but not least, I'd like to say a wonderful, warm thank you to the young people who've come on stage, told their stories, and taught us all something tonight. Congratulations to the LTAB 2019 champions, Hayfield Secondary. And to the rest of y'all, please stay connected with us at Split This Rock. You can come learn more about our upcoming programs in the back. We have a table, we're selling merchandise, we're selling Louder Than a Bomb t-shirts, so if you like them, come rock, get one, and support us, and learn about the next upcoming events that we have. Thank you all so much for coming tonight.